Gapology Radio podcast with authors Mark Tinas and Brian Brockhoff. We can be reached at gapology.org, and our books can be found at amazon.com.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining the podcast this week. This is Brian Brockhoff, your host for Gapology Radio. Let's give Mark Tinas a call here and see what he has for us this week.
Hey Brian.
Hey Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm great, how are you?
Good. You ready for another podcast?
Hey, I love podcasts.
Where are you today?
I'm in the home base, El Dorado Hills, California.
Sounds good. Nice to be home.
Yeah, it was in LA for the weekend.
Yeah, great. So what do you have for us this week?
Well, I wanted to share with everyone just a topic that is fresh on my mind, let's say, something we're working on. Sort of want to give a preview of something to come, but something that's extremely relevant to everyone that's listening. So I'm going to talk about the speed of purpose. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds great.
So we have been doing a lot of work around purpose, and it really came up in our Gapology work. So we found the most efficient organizations, the most successful organizations, the most successful people and teams were those that had purpose. So we were curious as to what the productivity multiplier was as it relates to purpose. And what we found in our studies is that people, teams, and organizations that have a clear and compelling purpose move at a speed of 2.8 times those without purpose. That's a staggering number. Think about what that means. Almost 3 times productivity when you've got purpose. So purpose, let's just define it. You know, for a human being, purpose is really their reason for being, their reason for getting out of bed every morning. So when you put that in the workplace, when you're part of an organization that has purpose, everything changes. It becomes who you are. It becomes what you do and why you do what you do. And this multiplier of 2.8 times, which is what we've come to call the speed of purpose, is what we're going to share in the near future with everyone. And what we've been working on is how to get there. How do we coach, how do we tell someone or a team or an organization how to get to this productivity multiplier of 2.8? Because it's such a game changer. It changes everything. So I want to share a little bit about the work that we've done so far. So the most amazing thing, I think, is that we've come up with 10 steps. So we have developed what we believe to be a 10-step process that gets you to the 2.8 times, that gets you to the speed of purpose. Now, those 10 steps are big. They take time. They take work. They take strategy. But 2.8 times. How would that change your organization? How would that change the performance of your team? How would that change the performance of you as an individual? So it's well worth it, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, Mark, that's interesting. I was working with a client this week, and their organization really doesn't have purpose. They're just going after tactics without a clear focus. And what I found is that the multiplier that you're speaking about, it actually impacts organizations in the reverse if they don't have purpose. So imagine dividing your productivity by 2.8. And that's really what I saw there. It was just incredible that this just, since we've been working on this, it just really popped out as I was working with this group.
Yeah, and that's real common, Brian. So most organizations do not have a clear and compelling purpose. So the opportunity, the upside with what we're going to share is literally off the charts. it could be the biggest thing we've ever done. I'm going to share just a couple of the steps with you and help you understand what this all looks like. So when we look at an organization with purpose, we're looking for a clear and compelling purpose. Not something just written in a handbook, not something just on a brass plaque in the home office front lobby. We're looking for a clear and compelling purpose that everyone on the team can tell us about. And that's if it's an organization, that we're comparing. Everyone should know the purpose. Everyone should be able to explain it. Everyone should know their part. I like to use the term wrapped in purpose. So if you run a team or an organization, you have got to wrap your team in purpose. They've got to be immersed in it, and then it becomes the game changer. Let me walk you through just a few of the steps. So the first is to create a clear and compelling purpose. Most organizations don't have that today. That's the starting point. So they often get lost in, we have a vision, or we have a mission statement, or we've got core values. All of those fall under purpose. If you were looking at a hierarchy, purpose is bigger than those things. The vision, the mission, the core values should be designed to support the purpose. They aren't the purpose. Sometimes they're worded to where they could become the purpose. It might be a step in the right direction, but what is the purpose of the organization? One of the biggest pitfalls we've seen, and Brian, you see this all the time, is organizations that are strictly focused on profit. Mm-hmm. Profit is good. We're not anti-profit. The way to get to profit is to have a clear and compelling purpose. If you're simply focused on profit, over time, it will come up shallow, there'll be disconnects, and you won't create the 2.8 times productivity that we're talking about. If you have an organization that is for profit, that has a clear and compelling purpose, that's a huge enhancer then to the profit.
How do you get leaders from these other organizations to agree with that? That has to come first before profit or before some of these other things?
Yeah, it's a great question. So one of the exercises that we've done, and it's similar to an exercise that we've shared before with the index cards. We simply take a leader, have them write down the purpose of their organization or their team on an index card without anyone else seeing it. And then we hand an index card to each of the members of the team or the key leaders of the organization, depending on the group that we're working with, and have them write down the purpose of the organization or team. We then match those up. And guess what we find, Brian?
They don't match.
They don't match. Yeah. There is no purpose. Purpose is evident to everyone. Purpose is not some unknown thing. Purpose doesn't change by day. Purpose should be built to last 100 years, 1,000 years. It doesn't go away. It's bigger than each of us as individuals. So most for-profit companies just don't yet understand the potential that is at their fingertips. We had one organization that we were working with that was in the business of lending money. What they seemed to fail to communicate, however, to their team was that the lending of the money was actually not the purpose at all. The purpose was helping the people that needed the money. And they needed the money. They really did. The lending had great purpose. The customer needed the money. But what the company failed to communicate was that the purpose was not lending. It was helping people. So we worked with that organization to help them understand that their purpose was helping people live their lives. So they actually had a great purpose, but it was never put together. It was never shared with the team. It was never part of every transaction to where people could be proud of the work they were doing. So they had this great potential, but it was totally missed because they failed to see and communicate a clear and compelling purpose to their team. So let me give you a couple other key points and I'm going to wrap up. So we have developed a 10-step plan to achieve the T2.8. Again, I said the 10 steps are they're easy to understand. They're not easy to implement. Some of them are, some of them aren't. You can begin immediately, though, once we share them with you. It becomes significant. And I'll start with this. And step one is to create a clear and compelling purpose. A purpose that would be known by every individual on the team, every individual in the organization. One thing that we learned is that within organizations, sometimes people, individuals, will have a purpose. And that's a good thing too. So they can create their own purpose in the absence of an organization creating one. So if you're listening to me, you're part of an organization without purpose, you might not be able to change that. But you as an individual can have purpose. You can find purpose in your work. And through that, maybe change the organization over time. But in either case, it will give you a great feeling and a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. Same thing for a team. If you're a team leader within an organization without purpose, you can have a purpose for your team, that aligns with, whatever the company's focused on. And through that, you might influence the team, or the organization over time. So this is not just limited to organizations. So in our work, we talk about people, individuals having purpose. We talk about teams having purpose, and that would be teams within an organization. And then the biggest thing is to get an organization fully wrapped in purpose and wrapping everyone in purpose. So we take that into account in our 10-step process. So to close, we've taken the 10 steps, and they really break down into 3 categories. We teach and have developed a plan to wrap people in purpose, to wrap process and all the processes within an organization in purpose, and then to wrap performance and all of the metrics and rewards in purpose. And when that's all completed, that's where the 10 steps are. So more to come on this. It's work that we're doing. We wanted to share it with you today because it is of such great significance and could be a total game changer, not only for your organization, but for your life. You personally can be affected by this, and it has affected us. We see things quite differently than before. So Brian, I'll turn it back to you to wrap up.
Okay. Yeah, great, Mark. I think this is such an important topic, especially today. And, in this world, I think everybody gets so caught up in just the day-to-day whirlwind of things that they have to do that they forget to stop sometimes and just consider purpose and consider the things that are truly important, things that are going to really enhance their lives and enhance the lives of the people that they work with. So this is super relevant. I can't wait for us to share this with everyone once it's all done, because this is definitely a game changer. It's something that's going to change everybody's lives.
Let me add one more thing that you just caused me to think about. Millennials are looking for purpose. So those of you out there that lead groups of millennials, this is a total game changer. Millennials are seeking this. They want this. They want this in their lives. Today we all spend too much time on devices and doing other stuff. Purpose is a game changer. It makes you feel differently at the end of the day, at the end of the week. And I think that organizations that embrace this and then bring it to the millennial generation are going to really reap the rewards. So that's a great point, Brian.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. All right, great. Well, hey, Mark, thanks for your time again this week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a great day, Brian. Thank you.
Yep. See ya. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us this week. If anyone has questions, comments that they'd like to share, feel free to shoot those over to us at gapologist@gmail.com, and we may read one of yours on the air. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been a production of Gapology Institute. Visit us at gapology.org.